Riders, attention. They're on their way in the opening event here, and the back marker's got away nicely there in the orange helmet. That's young Mitchell Stretton. George Mulhern, the boy from Brunswick, is the first rider he's got to make contact with. Then further out there we've got Lucas Caporelli, George Mulhern, of course. And look at young Rory Stretton out the front. So I hope this rain stays away. So they'll come around and get the bell. The back marker is not making much impression at this stage, but out the front here, with a good lead at this stage, young Rory Stretton from Noah Blaisley. Then further back we see the Luca Caprielli, and they're being passed now by George Mulhern. They'll come and get the bell for the opening event. And doing it nicely out in front is Rory Stretton. Out of the saddle now and trying to chase him is Noah Blaisley. Then further back making a good move here around the outside is George Mulhern, who goes around the outside of Luca Caporelli. And the back marker, Mitchell Stretton, he's got to wait for a scratch race, I think. Down the back straight, he's getting tired, the little fella here, Rory Stretton, about to be passed there by Noah Blaisley. Mulhern will have the last crack at him, and also hopping on his wheel with a second win there is young Luca Capriella. He's gone for home there at the top bend. This is young Noah Blaisley. Mulhern's the one now taking closer order. Mulhern goes up on the outside. He's only got one challenger there in Caprielli, the young boy from the Hobart Whirlers Club. He knows his track, but the boy from Brunswick across on the mainland, he holds the lead. Blaisley's trying to come at him now, but into the front straight. It's George Mulhern. Mulhern, oh! I tell you, up on the outside, it might have been Luca Caprielli. The local rider knows this track like the back of his hand. We'll wait on the judges. 175. Charlie Hannigan off 170. Nick Ablett off 105. Joanna Shevington off 100. Riders, attention. So they're on their way. Just looking at Brockson getting away. He's got a big 90 metres he's got to make up. But I tell you what, he's a talented young boy. Won the Burnie under 15 wheel race. That's him here in the black and green. Got a big job to do. We'll look out the front though and see Lucy Oliver, but been passed around the outside there. So those throw riders go around the outside there of Charlie Hannigan, Sophie Brotherton and Sybil O'Rourke. So they'll come and get the bell. Although he's got going again here, Lucy Oliver. So it looks a match in 4 at this stage at the bell. The back marker's got a lot of work to do in the middle markers, but they get the bell. And going along nicely out in front there is the rider there of Charlie Hannigan. About to be caught now, but look at the back marker. I tell you what, he's had the bell and he's starting to make up some ground here, Nicholas Brockson. He's got Thomas Blaisley. Charlie Menzies is going to be his next rider he's got to chase, but these front 4 are still going along nicely as they go down the back straight. Have they got enough left? The middle markers are starting to come hard now. But Charlie Hannigan has put up the white flag, so he's might not still figure in the placings, but into the front straight, a match in 2 and around the outside coming home strongly. But a good win there is going to be Sybil O'Rourke, would have taken that out there from Lucy Oliver. Not sure getting up for third might have been Sophie Brotherton. We'll give you the placings for that as the under-17s come to their marks. Riders, attention. On the way in the Tim and Jenny Rogers Lightning Handicap for the under-17s, looking at the back marker. He's got away nicely, the boy from the city of Burnie. That's Hayden Vanderploeg. He's about to get up there to Sam McKee, then further out to Alex Eves. Then look back there, we can see Tom Clayton, Lachlan Oliver. But out the front here, we've got the rider there of Bethany Boyd, also Alex Caporelli. Going along nicely. They'll come and get the bell. So these back markers got a heck of a lot of work to do at the 1,000 metres. And the front markers doing it nicely at the bell. Coming down the front straight, they'll get the bell. And it's Alex Caporelli leading out there from Tyler Street. And around the outside there goes the rider of Felicity Wilson Hefferton. Where's the back markers? Hayden Vanderploeg, no, he's still got a lot of work to do. The middle markers, 4 riders coming home strongly there in the middle group, but out in front, around the outside, I think you'll find that's the Felicity Wilson Hefferton that takes up the running, but here they come strong, this middle group here of Ryan Retcham, Dylan Rogerson and Jack Dola. Going to be a good 4-way go into the straight. Around the outside, looks over the shoulder, but comes down and takes a nice win out there as the rider wearing number 8, that's Lachlan Oliver from the Launceston City Cycling Club. So no doubt that Lachlan Oliver riding from the mark of 50 metres, will get up and take out that event. First six through to the final. Duffy's got away nice. He's looking there to get onto the back there of Sam Gallagher and also Matthew Richardson. Then further out here, we've got going along nicely is the rider there of Dalton Stretton. But out the front there is the riders of Paul Stretton and also the other rider there of Julian Clayton. They're being passed very quickly though. 6 to go through to the final. They'll come around and get the bell. The first heat of the Ride Bell Reeve, the Lightning Handicap. So count up heads as they come and get the bell. The back marker's got a fair bit of work to do to get through to the final, but going along nicely out in front is the rider there of number 162. That is the rider there of Jonathan Taylor. He's about to be collared. The back markers have still got a chance. 6 to go through to the final. Going around the outside, Duffy's there. Sam Gallagher's going along nicely as well. But he's gone for home. First 6 to go through. There's still a chance to get through the back markers into the final. But looking nicely out in front here. And the back marker's cutting to storm home. But this has been a very, very classy win in the first heat of the Ride Bell Reeve. And coming down and shutting down now on the line is the rider there of Stephen Rosendale. Getting up for second would have been the rider of Matthew Richardson. Then further back to Sam Gallagher. They've been followed in there by William Eves. We'll get the 6th place getters for you. But Stephen Rosendale. Riders, attention. They're on their way. He's got a big job to do here, Luke Platt, because he's got some 40 metres to get out there to Jordan Matthews, and Jordan's in good form because he took out the Rosebery Wheel Race just recently. But Luke Platt got a big job to do from the mark of scratch. 6 riders to go through to the final. But Tom Watts, the Hobart rider, James Niven there as well, along with James Blake from the Western Australia. James a good sell as well. The bell about the sound, and these 4 out in front going along nicely. Jordan Matthews hasn't made no contact at this stage, but out in front going along there is the rider of James Goodsell. Then further back then we've got Tom Watt there at second wheel. Jordan Matthews starting to make some ground there, and Luke Platt starting to storm home. Of course, the further it is, the better he likes it, but down the back straight, and he's going along nicely here. The rider of James the Goodsell from the Dirt Devils club here in Hobart. Looks all over a win as they go past the scoreboard. Tom Watts there battling on as well. Where's the back markers? No, they're set up there, Jordan Matthews and Luke Platt. Looks over the shoulder, but he comes down for a nice comfortable win. Getting up there for second, I say on the outside, would have been the rider of number 148, Aaron Jones. The Queenslander Blake Quick on 10 metres. Riders, attention. On their way, the final heat, first 6 to go through to the final. Getting away nicely out in front here, we've got James Coy, and also there with him is Peter Smith. Back marker's got away nicely. Looking under his arm there is Blake Quick. You can see in the black colours of the back marker there in Stephen Hall trying to make contact, or he's made no impression at this stage. And Blake Quick said, I can't wait for any longer, young fella. I've got to try to make a move here. So coming around to the front straight, and Tom Watt is joined there with the rider there of Errol Langham. Making a good move around the outside there is the rider there of Aaron Midley, having his only ride for the carnival. And Aaron Midley goes up there to second place. Aaron Midley, great to have Aaron, and also sponsoring the men and women's wheel race, along with Justin McMullen, equal prize money for the wheel races for both men and women. And I tell you what, he might be only riding one carnival, but he'll come into the straight and take out the third heat. Come down and takes it out, Aaron Midley. Getting up for second on the outside there would have been the rider over Tim Taylor, who had on the judges' placings in the third heat of the Ride Bell Reeve Lightning. Give you the placings in heat number 2. The placings were number 163, James Goodsell. Second place there went to number 148. That was Aaron Jones. Third place to 158, James Niven. Fourth place to number 146, Mitchell Gittis. Fifth place to number 165, Tom Watt. And the final qualifier, number 135, which was James Blake, the Western Australian. We'll get placings for you from the third heat. Riders, attention. They're on their way. They all got a clean start, a push off the fence, and Alex Manley got a big job to get out there to Lauren Perry. Then further out there we've got Lillian McLennan. Then back wearing number 110, the ex-Canadian cyclist there in Lizzie Ann Wilmont. But out in front, looking to the rider there of Sophie Kelly, she's about to be passed there So a big bunch field, and looks like the three back markers are the ones in a bit of trouble. Looks like the front and middle markers are going to fight out the final of the Women's Lightning Handicap. They come around and get the bell about to sound. Plenty of movements here. I can see the Canadian rider there from New South Wales doing a great job, but out in front going along nicely there is number 119, Grace Johnson. Making a close move there is Eugenie O'Rourke. I can see making a good bit, but from the St George Club in New South Wales, this is the sprinter, Lizzie-Anne Wilmot, that takes up the running on that red machine. Where's the challenge is going to come from? First prize 140 plus the sash, second 70 and 30 for third. These three out in front look to be fighting out. She's fighting back on the inside, Wilmot, but being challenged on the outside. Three across the track as they come into the straight. She's starting to tire and getting up and taking it. A good win is number 105. That's the rider there of Isla Carr from Western Australia. Good to see from the XP Club in Western Australia. Her first time to Tasmania. And Isla Carr of 70 metres from the XP Club has taken out the Lakesh Sarvesh Sandra Women's Lightning Handicap Final. Get official placings for you. Two back markers, Matthew Richardson. They've got their work cut out there. This middle group looks very, very strong here from the 90 metre mark out to the 140 metre mark. Riders, attention. They're on their way. Looking out the front here, was he getting away nicely is James Goodsell. He's the limit marker. Swinging up the track there momentarily was James Goodsell. They got away nicely. Aaron Midley doing a lot of the work there early. And then the bunch following. And look at the two back markers here. This is the Sam Gallagher doing a big turn here for Matthew Richardson. Three groups on the track at this stage are about to come all together except for the two back markers. Anyone's Lightning Handicap here. Paddy Best there in the Australian colours back at fifth wheel, I can see. They come, Aaron Midgley takes up the running now as they come and get the bell. And it's Midgley that leads out. Looking back there, Rosendale looks very, very comfortable at third wheel. Paddy Best on his wheel. Back marker starting to come into it. They haven't gone for home. They hit that headwind down the back straight. Midgley now, Rosendale looking over the shoulder, looking confident there at third wheel. He now goes to home. He goes up to Aaron Midgley and Stephen Rosendale. As the 16-year-old won the Launceston Wheel Race. And I tell you what, this guy coming home strongly though. Has he got enough petrol left? Stephen Rosendale about to be challenged on the line. Rosendale and getting up Matthew Richardson. What a ride from 20 metres. Matthew Richardson scorched home there to be second. And I think you'll find Aaron Jones may have got third prize money. What a ride, Stephen Rosendale. Riders, attention. They're on the way in the wheel race for 2020 here at the Newtown Oval, and it's Rory Stretton that's got away nicely. Noah Blaisley out after him. Then further back to Luca Caprelli and also George Mulhern, who's been re-handicapped in the Brunswick colours, and the back marker Mitchell Stretton. Down the back straight and going like a winner, young Rory Stretton. She won the Burnie wheel race last New Year's Eve. And it's Rory Stretton that'll come into the front straight and get the bell. Chasing there is a Noah Blaisley, the boy from the Launceston Club, out of the saddle as they hit that headwind. But Rory Stretton, look at those little legs pumping as she'll come down and get the bell, young Rory Stretton. The bell sounds. One lap to go, Rory, and Rory's on the move. Out of the saddle here is Noah Blaisley. Here comes George Mulhern, the boy from Brunswick. Then further back then we've got Luca Caprelli and also the back marker in Mitchell Stretton. Rory Stretton, she's still leading down the back straight. The challenger now, I tell you what, he's been out of the saddle a fair bit, but Noah Blaisley is the one doing the challenge. George Mulhern is still a chance there. And then further back then to the rider of Luca Caprello. But down the back straight, she's starting to tire Rory Stretton, and looks like it's going to be Noah Blaisley that takes up the running now by the scoreboard. Stretton's not done with yet. She's kicking back on the inside. But I tell you what, he's been out of the saddle more than he's been in it. And George Mulhern is starting to fly home into the straight. They'll hit the headwind. And it's down on the inside here. Noah Blaisley. And look at George Mulhern down the outside. Blaisley, Mulhern. But Blaisley took it out. And Noah Blaisley took it out from George Mulhern. Rory Stretton would have been third. Then further back into Luca Caprelli and the back marker Mitchell Stretton. Great final there of the under-13s. Number 39, Noah Blaisley, Launceston City Cycling Club off 140 was first. Number 34, George Mulhern from Brunswick on the mainland off 30 metres was second. And number 40, Rory Stretton off the limit mark of 170 was third. On the way in the under-15 wheel race here in Hobart, looking at the back marker, by gee, he's just leaving the back straight now, and looking out to the limit markers there in Lucy Oliver, Sybil O'Rourke up there onto her wheel, then further back then to Sophie Brotherton and also Charlie Hannigan. Then a group of four, that's Nick Ablett, Jonas Shevelton, Charlie Menzies and also there Thomas Blaisley. So those four, and I'll tell you what, Nicholas Brockson, he'd have to be better than Danny Clark to get up and win from there. But Sybil O'Rourke takes up the running now in the under-15 wheel race. Sophie Brotherton there on her wheel. Then further back then we've got the rider there of Charlie Hannigan. Sophie Lucy Oliver on their wheel. Then doing the main group along there is Charlie Menzies in the yellow, swings up the track. Thomas Blaisley from the Launceston Club takes up the running now. And he's the back marker, Nicholas Brockson. He's dominated under 15s last year. But by gee, he's given him a big task here, Greg O'Rourke, the handicapper. But these four out in front going along nicely here. That's Lucy Oliver, Sybil O'Rourke, Sophie Brotherton and Charlie Hannigan. They're swapping off turns and they're making it hard for the middle markers to make contact as they come down the straight to get two to go. Two to go in the under-15 wheel race for 2020 here at Newtown. And on the front there doing her turn is Lucy Oliver. On her wheel there is Sybil O'Rourke. Then further back to Sophie Brotherton and Charlie Hannigan. Swinging up the track there was Charlie Menzies in the yellow, doing a big turn here as Thomas Blaisley's really got down. Look at the back marker, Nicholas Brockson, a lap and a half, and he's starting to make some inroads onto the middle markers. But Sybil O'Rourke's gone for home here in the under-15 wheel race, Sybil O'Rourke. She'll come around and get the bell. Sophie Brotherton up there at second wheel on the inside. Then further back then to, that's Lucy Oliver. But Sybil O'Rourke, she'll come down and get the bell here in the under-15 wheel race for 2020 at the Newtown Oval. And Sybil O'Rourke leads out. Sophie Brotherton, then further back then to Charlie Hannigan and Lucy Oliver. Where's the moves coming from? Maybe around the outside there, Jonas Shevelton. And the back marker, Nicholas Brockson, he could run into a place here from scratch. Has been a big ride, but down the back straight looking all over a winner here is Sybil O'Rourke. She's had much success in the past here at the Tasmanian Carnival, coming up from the junior ranks, and she looks like she's going to add another wheel race to her CV. She goes by the scoreboard. I'll tell you what, coming home nicely here is Jonas Shelvington. Jonas Shelvington's really coming home strong. Sybil O'Rourke gets collared there by Jonas Shelvington. This has been a good ride by the young fella, and he gets up and takes it out from Sybil O'Rourke, getting up for third there with the rider there of Thomas Blaisley. They've been followed in there by Lucy Oliver, Sophie Brotherton there at the conclusion of the under-15 wheel race. Oh, he came home like a train, did the young fella, Jonas Shelvington, off 200 metres. On their way, just look at the back markers getting away there. That's Hayden Vanderplug and Sam McKee. Then further out there, we've got the rider of Alex Eves and Tom McClayton. Looking at the out markers there, Bethany Boyd along with Tyler Stretton, and also the other rider there is Alex Caproli. The back markers have got together nicely there, Vanderplug, McKee and Alex Keys. But into the front straight, looking over the shoulder, a flick of the elbow there, and come down to get... Three to go, and it's on the inside there. That's Tyler Stretton that leads out. Leading the main group along there is the rider of Jack O'Rourke in the orange colours that swings up the track to allow Mika Derrico to do a turn. Looking back here to this group here, being led along on the inside there now by the rider there of Lachlan Oliver, who won the 1,000 metres on the yellow bike there. And the back markers, they nearly made contact with that group. But still these two out in front, going along nicely. They'll come around to get 2 laps to go in the under-7 wheel for 2:20. These middle markers looking nice here, and that'll be the rider there of Jack O'Rourke in the orange colours. They're making some inroads, but at this stage it's Alex Caproli, but around the outside there, swings up the track there is Jack O'Rourke. Mika Derrico has nice position as well. Looks like I can't see any challenges coming here from the back at this stage because these three are looking quite good out in front. There's still a lap and a half to go though. They're starting to come into it now, the back markers, but they'll come around and get the bell. And the under-17 wheel race brought to you by Tim and Jenny Rogers. So the bell about to sound as they come into the front straight. And it is the Felicity Wilson there. Then further back, Mika Derrico and Jack O'Rourke. They're starting to tire. And now a big turn here by the rider of Lachlan Oliver. Lachlan Oliver there along with Dylan Rogers. The back markers, there's Hayden Vanderploeg. They're not done with yet, but I tell you what, out in front, all over a winner here is this young girl. This is Felicity Wilson Hefferton. Felicity Wilson Hefferton, she's got the wheel race all shot the ribbons, one would think. Up by the scoreboard, she'll hit a headwind here. We've seen what happened to Sybil O'Rourke. They're starting to come hard though, but has she got enough left in reserve? Felicity Wilson Hefferton, Felicity Wilson Hefferton, she'll come down and take out the wheel race. Oh, getting up for second there would have been Nicholas Bolt, the West Australian, along with Flynn Ritzmar. But a good ride there by the young lady. Senior wheel race heats are up next. Senior wheel race heats up next. Riders, attention. Heat one of the Steve Daly for 2020 and Julian Clayton, the limit marker off the 300 metre mark with Peter Smith. Then further back, a big gap back then to Aaron Jones, Luke Atkinson. Jones doing a big job on his wheel there as Luke Atkinson joining them there also as Mitchell Giddis. Then further back we've got Dalton Stretton, also there Jack Menzies. Then further back we've got that's Blake Quick and also Josh Duffy, two very, very talented riders there from the back marks. But coming down the front straight, and it's a Julian Clayton and Peter Smith that will come to the front straight. They get 3 laps to go. Julian Clayton leads out there from the rider of Peter Smith. Then looking back here on the front, a flick of the elbow there by the rider there of Mitchell Giddis. Luke Atkinson and Aaron Jones. Getting across to them there is Dalton Stretton and the 2 back markers here doing a big job here to try to get through to the final of the Steve Daly. But down the back straight with that tailwind and 2 of the limit markers here, Julian Clayton and Peter Smith are still working nicely together. Then the group there of Aaron Jones, Luke Atkinson, Mitchell Giddis. And the 2 back markers have still got 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go, so still a chance to make the final. 6 to go through to the final. These 2 out in front, Julian Clayton and Peter Smith, now taking close to order. Luke Atkinson swings up the track, and the 2 back markers. That's Josh Duffy from the Launceston City Cycling Club, and from Queensland, from the Balmoral Club, Blake Quick. Looks like they're going to get through to the final, though, these 2 riders with a lap and a half to go. 6 to go through. The 2 front markers going up and down in the one spot now. Julian Clayton, Peter Smith about to be collared. Aaron Jones, the winner in 2010, looks to qualify again for the final this year. So the bell about to sound, and he's gone straight to the front here. That's the rider there of Dalton Stretton, a silver medalist for Tasmania in the team's pursuit. But now the back markers show their class. And around the outside, they'll be counting heads. 2, 4, 6. Who's going to make the final? 6 riders. A few poor riders have put the white flag up. But looking good here. Josh Duffy and Blake Quick are going to go through to the final. Aaron Jones is going to also make it through. Luke Atkinson, they're looking over the shoulder. But 6 to go through. They'll shut it down now. But it's always nice to win a heat. And going through on the middle there, maybe it was the rider of Blake Quick in the middle that took out the heat number 1. Heat 2 coming up. And Matthew Richardson and Sam Gallagher go into heat number 2 off the 40 metre mark. Connor Rowley off 80 metres. So Matthew Richardson and Sam Gallagher go into heat 2 off 40 metres. Riders, attention. They're on the way of heat 2 of the wheel race for 2020, and it's James Goodsell that gets away nicely, looks over his shoulder to see he's got company in Michael Eastwood and Jonathan Taylor. Then further back there we've got Andre Neverlove, the boy from Western Australia there at 4th wheel. Looking at the back markers, where are they? Here they come now. Connor Rowley here looks over the shoulder, and he sees he's got company here in Luke Clapp and also Stephen Hall. Looked like Matthew Richardson and Sam Gallagher didn't make that heat, so not sure what happened there. They were put into this heat, so not sure what happened there. Greg O'Rourke had put them into this heat, but on the front there going through now is number 161. Laser Electrical, of course. Aaron Midley, Laser Electrical there at Sandy Bay, the sponsor of the wheel race. He's the back markers here, Luke Clapp, Connor Rowley and Stephen Hall. Looking at the limit markers down the back straight, they're all formed up. Looks like 2 riders didn't, who have been put into heat number 2, didn't make that heat. That's Matthew Richardson and Sam Gallagher. But coming down the front straight, the wind's playing havoc here as they get 2 laps to go.
2 to go, and going to the front now is Stephen Rosendale. He was all right over 1,000 metres. He's got enough petrol for 2,000 metres. Jonathan Taylor there goes to the front now in the black colours. Here's the back markers. Luke Plapp, Stephen Hall, Connor Rowley, a sprinter. Got a big task to do there, but Luke Plapp and Stephen Hall, this is going to be a mammoth job to try to get up into the top 6 with a big bunch out the front as they'll come around next time to get the bell in heat 2. Going along nicely, these riders out in front. And there's 6 of them out there. Can they all make the final? Then on the inside there, swinging up the track. Starting to make close and contact now is Oscar Varney. And look at the back markers. Luke Plapp and Stephen Hall. I tell you what a ride by these 2 riders. But there again, Luke Plapp's been over in South Australia training with the Australian Track Endurance Squad, and he shows his class around the outside. Stephen Hall is going to qualify for the final as well. But put your hands together. Lucas Plapp is the youngster who used to come to Tasmania. He showed his class, and Luke Plapp comes down to take it out there. Getting up for second would have been the rider at number 168, Stephen Rosendale. I tell you what, he's won the world race twice. He was second to Jamie Carney on a couple of occasions. Can he win it again in his older years? They're on their way. I can see the 2 limit markers have got away nicely. That's Paul Stritton and also James Coy. Then further back then to Tom Watson along there with Aaron Midley. They had him placed in the last heat, but he definitely wasn't in the last heat, 167. So Aaron Midley, the sponsor of this event there, is up behind the rider there of Tom Watt, and the back markers there. Look at them go. This is the rider of Sam Gallagher and also Matthew Richardson. They're about to collar Nathan Earl and Jordan Matthews, who took out the Rosary wheel race just recently. But into the front straight here to get 3 laps to go. And on the front going along nicely there is the rider there of James Coy going to the front now. But look at Aaron Midgley. He's carted that group up there as well. On the front doing a big turn there is Tim Taylor. Swings up the track now to allow James Blake to do a turn. And the back markers. Sam Gallagher did a big turn there. See Jordan Matthews in the green and black. They'll come in to get 2 to go, but these ones out in front are doing a good job. Paddy Best there in the Australian colours. He come back from Queensland with all the gold medals in the paracycling. Aaron Midgley there trying to get through to the final. On his wheel there is Tom Watt at second wheel. Where's the challengers coming from? James Blake, the West Australian, did a turn. Now doing a turn is Nathan Earl. There's no mountains here, Nathan. There's no mountains on the track. I tell you what, he's got the 3rd fastest time up Everest ever. And Nathan Earl, we know him as a road rider. He loves Mount Baw over in Victoria. Of course, rode for Team Sky. They'll come and get the bell though, and it's Paddy Best with Aaron Midgley. Also there going on nicely is James Coy. Then further back to Tom Watt. Paul Stratton's still there with a chance. And the other moves coming there from the rider of Tim Taylor. And the back markers, Sam Gallagher is trying to get into the final along with Matthew Richardson. 6 to go through. And I tell you what, they're starting to spread out, but the back markers need to do a bit to get through to the final. Because Aaron Midgley, the sponsor of the event, great to see, he's going to go through to the final from Laser Electrical in Sandy Bay. And Aaron Midgley deservedly goes through to the final. Can he win his own prize money? He takes it out from Paddy Best. Then further back there in 3rd place would have went to number 124. Flashing home there, good ride there from the back mark to get up there would be the rider of Matthew Richardson, the West Australian. He came back from, he's come from Queensland where he took out the National Sprint Championship up there in the 21-year-old. Get the official placings for you shortly. So they're on their way. This is the under-13 scratch race brought to you by an anonymous champion rower turned cyclist. So you would know who you are. A field of 5. Isn't it great to see the youngsters? 2 under-9 riders in this field. Of course, the young girl from the city of Burnie with Grandma here giving her a push away. That's Rory Stratton. And also Noah Blaisley, both under-9s. So naturally they're going to find it a little bit tough in a scratch race because Mitchell Stratton's been riding from the back mark, so he's got to be, you'd say, the favourite to take out the scratch race. They come and get the belt. And on the front's the local rider in Luca Caprali that leads out. George Mulhern there at second wheel and Mitchell Stratton in the orange helmet. But down the back straight, They'll hit that headwind in the front straight. George Mulhern looking comfortable there at second wheel, but the boy that knows this track like the back of his hand, now Mulhern, the boy from Brunswick over on the mainland, goes around the outside, and Mitchell Stretton's got the last crack at him. He's been doing it tough in the handicap and the wheel race, but he hasn't got the George Mulhern yet, the boy from Brunswick. Now he unleashes around the outside, does Mitchell Stretton, and Grandma's there to give him a cheer. Oh, Mulhern fights back on the inside. Mitchell Stretton down the outside, gets the upper hand, and Mitchell Stretton takes it out there from George Mulhern. Battling on for third, the local rider in Luca Caprelli. And then further back to these 2 under 9 riders. This is Rory Stretton and also young Thomas Blaisley. They're going to have a race to the line as well. Well done, and Thomas Blaisley just beats the young girl there in the Rory Stretton. Well done to all the junior riders. And Mitchell Stretton has got a win here at the program. He's been doing it tough in the handicap and the wheel race from the back mark, but he's picked up some prize money here. A nice $40 goes in the pocket. Grandma will probably take that. So thanks to that anonymous official who's out here in the middle somewhere for putting up the $80 prize money for the under 15 scratch race. And it is Nicholas Brockson in the green and black colours. Had a tough day here at Newtown Oval, riding from the mark of honour in both the handicap and the wheel race. But this is his chance to amend and pick up some prize money, although I'm sure quite a few other riders have got thoughts about that, but he's done a turn on the front, swings up the track. Been very impressed with Lucy Oliver, Sybil O'Rourke, Sophie Brotherton. They've all done well, the 3 young ladies at the carnival. Swinging up the track there is Nick Ablett. Sybil O'Rourke goes to the front, a very slow tempo with 3 to go. Charlie Menzies. So they're just rolling along at this stage, and Nicholas Brockson doesn't want to get too far back. He'll be caught out because the pace quickened at the front, and he's had to skip around them to make contact with them, young Nicholas Brockson. So the pace definitely quickened. Sophie Brotherton just missed the wheel there, and she's back there with 2 of the other riders. The pace goes off once again, though. It's Charlie Menzies. Leads out on his wheel there is Thomas Blaisley. Then further back there in the blue colours is Nick Ablett. Now Nicholas Brockson says, no, it's no good being back there in the field. I better dictate terms from the front. The local rider who won the wheel race is the one that's hopped onto his wheel, though. That's Jonas Shelvington. So it looks like a group of 4 now have kicked away at the front. Swings up the track there, does Brockson, so does Shelvington. So coming around this time to get the bell. The pace goes off once again, so it's going to be a sprint home. Down on the inside there, going along nicely there is Nick Ablett. Shelvington and Brockson there having a good look at each other. He showed he can come home strongly. Now Shelvington's the first one to make a move. Brockson, the boy from the city of Burnie, he goes around the outside. He's ridden off scratch all day, and he wants to put some money in the pocket so he can head back up Launceston tomorrow, of course. And Nicholas Brockson, I tell you what, he's come up through the junior ranks, and he's going to have a win here at Newtown. And Nicholas Brockson, you don't want to sit up, young fella, because you might miss second, but Nicholas Brockson takes it out here. Jonas Shelvington was second, getting up for third. A good ride there by Nick Ablett. Then further back, then we've got the Thomas Blaisley, then Sybil O'Rourke and Charlie Menzies in the yellow. Then further back, I can see Sophie Brotherton coming into the front straight now with Lucy Oliver, and also the rider there around the outside in number 25, Charlie Hannigan. Oh, a $40 sprint coming up here halfway through this scratch race, a $40 sprint. Tim and Jenny Rogers bringing us the scratch race. I tell you what, that intermediate sprint's worth better than second prize money, so I tell you what, there could be a bit of action here in the under-17 scratch race. The winner of the wheel race there at the rear of the field there, that's Felicity Wilson Hefferton. 6 laps of journey. And I tell you what, they're not messing around early. They're see Hayden Vanderplug up there nice and handy. The back markers have found it tough here at Hobart. Hayden Vanderplug and also Sam McKee. This is their chance to amends along with Alex Eves. You can already see the pace has been set here on the front by the rider from the city of Burnie. Taking up the running now is young Sam McKee from the Launceston City Cycling Club, and McKee leads them up onto the top bend, swings up the track now. Lachlan Oliver's been riding well along with Nicholas Bolt, Dylan Rogers. And the pace has been steady out the front. They'll get the whistle to signify when the sprint's going to be held, which is worth $40 for this intermediate sprint. I think a few riders might be interested in picking up the sprint. Move on the inside now as they come down to get 4 to go. They get the whistle, so the sprint's coming up. And this is Alex Eves that leads out there from Hayden Vanderplug. Alex Eves looks over the shoulder. He's got to go a long way from home. Hayden Vanderplug's interested in the $40 for the sprint. Down the back straight, and a group of 4 has slipped away here down the back straight, but he's showing plenty, this young fellow out the front, Alex Eves. He hails from the city of Burnie. Hayden Vanderplug's also a club mate of his from the city of Burnie. $40 up for grabs here. Vanderplug said, I want the $40. Eves said, I want it. A great tussle between the two city of Burnie riders, but Hayden Vanderplug takes it out from Alex Eves. Then further back there is Nicholas Bolt, the tall boy from Western Australia. So they'll settle down there, although Nicholas Bolt said, okay, I'm going to go on with it here. And they'll come around next time to get 2 to go. So the Western Australian goes high on the track there with the red shoulders on the jersey. So a group of 6 out the front as they're coming down this time to get 2 to go. In the under-17 scratch race, swinging up the track, looking under the arm there, is the tall Western Australian and Nicholas Bolt. Vanderplug takes up the running once again. On his wheel there, Alex Eves. So Hayden Vanderplug picked up the $40. He'll be trying to add some more money, picking up $70 for the win. So they'll come around next time and get the bell. So the pace has gone off. It's going to be a sprint home. Eves now goes to the front. William moves. Flick of the elbow there for moves. Vanderplug didn't want to move at this stage. He's sitting on his wheel. Going through on the inside now is the rider there of... that's Jack Dollar from Expert, another Western Australian. And it's Dollar that leads out. Vanderplug looking over the shoulder, hasn't gone for it yet. Now a move around the outside, and he caught them napping, but Dollar kicked through on the inside. Vanderplug is out after them, but down the back straight, I didn't pick up the rider that's gone to the front, but now Vanderplug and Dollar's out after him, up past the scoreboard, and the boy from the city of Burnie, Hayden Vanderplug, he's trying to put another $70 in the pocket, Vanderplug. He's ridden from the back mark all carnival. He's going to take it out, and Vanderplug takes it out there from Alex Eves. I think getting up for third might have been the West Australian in Nicholas Bolt. One of the judges' placings in the under-17 scratch race brought to you by Tim and Jenny Rogers. Laser Electrical and McMullen's Lawyers bring you the richest women's wheel race here in Tasmania. $1,200 to the winner plus a trophy and a sash, $400 for second, $200 for third, $125 for fourth and $75 for fifth. So we've got to thank Aaron Midley and Justin McMullen for putting up the money for the men's and the women's wheel race for 2020. And to your marks, thanks riders. We wish you all the best. We have got the 3 previous winners of the Hobart Women's Wheel Race here today. In 2018, Jessie Sawyer won the wheel race. In 2019, it was Amalia Langham. And this year in January, Lauren Perry. Can she make it 2 wheel races in the 1 year? But she took out the wheel race in 2020. The back marker from scratch, ladies and gentlemen. She's a Commonwealth Games gold medalist. She's a junior world champion. Put your hands together for Alexander Manley, riding from scratch. Great to have Alex here, along with her partner Matthew Richardson. Born in Kalgoorlie, I found out Alex Manley, and before she took up cycling, she tried basketball, cross-country, netball, hockey, tennis, javelin, steeplechasing even. So she's tried everything in her career, but 24 years of age, and just recently, so she's a World Cup champion, a Commonwealth champion, Oceania champion, Australian champion and world champion, riding here in Tasmania. Riders, attention. They're on the way in the wheel race for 2020. Will it be one of the three that Jessie Sawyer, Amalia Langham or Lauren Perry? We're looking at the back markers. Get away nicely. But out in front here, we've got Sophie Kelly, Belle Kemp there along with Renee Philpott and Grace Johnson. Oh, look at the Canadian rider there from with that orange-red bike. The back marker's been led along by Lillian McLennan. On her wheel there, we've got Lauren Perry. Of course, Lauren won the Scratch Race Championship up at the Anna Mears Velodrome at the Nationals just recently, and Alex Manley at the rear. But down the front straight, they've got 3 laps to go, and going along nicely is Sophie Kelly, about to be joined there by Mel Kemp. Then the Grex group being led along there by Abby Griggs from the X-Speed Club there in Western Australia. So these three have got a huge job to do, but Liliana McLennan, she's doing a big job, and if she can try to get Lauren Perry and also Alexander Manley in touch. But I tell you what, they've got a tough job because they all come together out the front, so it's developed into a bit of a scratch race out the front. Will they sit up or will they keep the pace up? Because the 3 back markers, they'll still keep on working. They're all having a good look at each other. Around the outside, there goes the rider there of Amy Wright. She turned 18 on Saturday, Amy Wright. She won the Launceston Wheel Race a couple of years ago, Amy Wright, and she takes up the running down the back straight. Now it's Lauren Perry. Liliana McLennan couldn't do any more, and Lauren Perry trying to do a turn. Alex Manley is on her wheel, but I tell you what, the pace has been kept on in front here by the youngster here in Amy Wright, celebrating her 18th birthday. They come down the front straight. They got the bell lap. Who's going to take out the wheel race? Swinging up the track now. This is the rider there of Amalia Langham that takes up the running from the City of Burnie Club. And Alexander Manley, though, she's got to be a powerhouse to come from there. But I tell you what, she's a world champion, a Commonwealth gold medalist. But I tell you what, it's between these 4 or 5 out the front. Who's going to take out the 2020 Hobart Wheel Race? Brought to you by Laser Electrical McMullen's Lawyers. There's going to be a match in 4 as they come down the front straight, up on the outside, getting the upper hand and looking good and taking out the wheel race. It's going to be the rider going along and taking out a great ride there by the West Australian, Isla Carr. Isla Carr from West Australia, and she won the 1,000 metres, and she's come all the way from West Australia, and she's added $1,200 to the pocket. Isla Carr. I don't think she'll see that handicap mark for the rest of the carnivals, but Isla Carr has taken out the Laser Electrical McMullen's Lawyers Women's Wheel Race for 2020. Of course, Josh Duffy won it in January of this year, and Stephen Hall won it in 2016. So a cracker final coming up here in the Steve Daly Hobart Wheel Race. Attention. On their way in the wheel race for 2020, and James Coy off the limit mark as the way. Then further back to James Goodsall, Aaron Midley. Then further back on his wheel there is the rider of Stephen Rosendale. Can Rosendale make it to 3 wheel races? Paddy West up there in the Australian colours, nice and handy. Looking back on, making a big move here is the rider of Jack Menzies trying to get on touch with him, and look at doing a big turn on the front here as Blake Quick, the Queenslander, doing a big turn for the back riders. They'll come down the front straight. Once again, the pace has been on here with the 3 laps to go in the Steve Daly Wheel Race for 2020. And they've set a good pace out in front, and leading them in, that's James Goodsell. Going up the track, Aaron Midley is a sponsor of this event. He didn't want to be in front, Aaron Midley. That's going to suit the middle markers. The pace went off momentarily there. Doing a big turn there is Aaron Jones, the 2010 winner. But the back markers have made some inroads there. Stephen Hall doing a big turn with the back markers. But the pace out front is good. Aaron Midley. Can he take out his own wheel races? They come down the front straight, they get 2 laps to go. The Scratchers have got a huge job to do. But Midgley there, Paddy Best, who's Did very well up at the Nationals in the Para Championships in the Australian colours. Paddy Best leads out. A few riders have put the white flag up. Where's the back markers? Around the outside now goes Luke Plapp. Luke Plapp's got the train going. I tell you what, they'll have to move very, very quickly because these ones out in front are going to take a lot of beating, although the pace goes off momentarily. Aaron Midley there at fifth wheel. Can he take out his own wheel race? But Paddy Best leads into the straight for the bell in the Australian colours. Best up on the outside now, making a move is the rider there at number 157. That's Paul Butler. Butler there. Oh, here they come now. Look at the back marker. Luke Plapp. Luke Plapp, he's got here Josh Duffy. Can Duffy make it 2 wheel races in 2020? They're coming hard, the back markers, down the back straight. Taking up the running, you put the white flag up at the back markers. It could be a back markers wheel race for Steve Daly. And around the outside, Luke Plapp. He's got on his wheel there, Josh Duffy. Into the straight. Luke Plapp leads into the straight. Down to the line they go. Oh, close. Oh, maybe Plapp from Duffy. And then further back then to the right. Wait, quick. Oh. He slowed up on the line, but I think he's lasted. Squad that's training hard over there in South Australia for the Olympics. How's it going, the training?
Yeah, really, really good. We've finished a track block a month ago. We're into a roadblock stint now, but this is really good to get a bit of racing in the legs as we just haven't had any track for the whole year. So this is just perfect preparation and full steam ahead for Tokyo.
So you're doing Launceston, Georgetown and Burnie?
Yeah, I'll be there for all 4, so it should be awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's a world champion. I tell you what, he rode Junior Worlds track and road, silver medal in the time trial on the road under 19, gold medal in on the track. What do you prefer, track or road, Luke?
Oh, don't ask me that question, Ian.
Don't ask him that question. Luke Plapp, what a ride, taking out the Steve Daly Hobart wheel race sponsored by Laser Electrical Sandy Bay. What a ride there by Josh Duffy. I thought he was going to get up on the outside. The first lap is free, so it's all about position in the missing out. The best place to ride a missing out is up the front. So all safe this time. Everyone's safe this time, although the pace has been quickened here. So from now on, there'll be a rider out every lap from now on. So Sophie Kelly is the one that's showing the pace out front. Swings up the track now. So one rider off the back. So it looks like the main bunches are all intact. One rider out the back at this stage, who looks like the first rider to be eliminated. So all you riders in the front straight are all safe now. You're all safe, all safe. And the rider that's being eliminated now coming across the line is number 123, Mel Kemp. Mel Kemp, the first rider eliminated. This event brought to you by Stratton Finance, thanks to Adrian Morrissey of Stratton Finance. So the paces are good here in the women's missing out. A lot of riders want to be up the front where you want to be in an event like this. Looks like the Canadian here might be in a bit of trouble though. She's a very good sprinter. She gets a run off the bank. So looks down the bottom of the track. Number 120, Sophie Kelly. Sophie, you've been eliminated. Number 120, Sophie Kelly. So great to see the biggest field I think there's been here for the Hobart Carnivals. Of course, usually held in January of every year, but this year with the COVID that's wrecked cycling everywhere, it's great to see that Hobart and Georgetown have joined the Christmas Carnivals along with Launceston and Burnie. Who's going to be eliminated this time? Jesse Sawyer looking in a bit of trouble. No, higher on the track, I'd say. 119, the rider out. That's Grace Johnson from the Mersey Valley Devonport Club. Grace Johnson, the rider eliminated. So a nice tail breeze down the back straight. You always see the pace quickens down the back straight. So great to see such a big field of women racing here at the Newtown Oval. Been very lucky with the rain and got the wheel races all done. So one rider just at the back here. So 116 from the mainland, Amelia Mulhern, the young girl from the Brunswick Club. Only a youngster up from the under-17s into open company. Rode very well at the National Junior Track Championships just recently there in Melbourne. She's living dangerously there on that nice pink bike, but she goes around the outside and 104. 104, Rebecca Blake, one of the X-Speed riders. Rebecca, I tell you what, they're having a ball here, the Western Australians, with Isla Carr and Abby Griggs. They went 1-2 in the wheel race. Looks like the rider there, the Canadian that rides now with the St George Club, looks like she's going to self-eliminate. So the main bunches are all together, they're okay. Liliana McLennan, this bunch here coming to the front straight now are all safe. You are all safe, riders. You are all safe, all safe. And she waves to the crowd as she eliminates Lizzie Ann Wilmot. She's a sprinter. She's happy it's over. So the rider from the Balmoral Club, Liliana McLennan, is the rider that leads them out. Down the bottom with nowhere to go is not the right place to be, and that could be the rider there of Eugenia O'Rourke. We'll have to wait and see. No, it looks like Jessie Sawyer. 1-2-2, Jessie Sawyer. She's a previous Hobart Women's Wheel Race winner. But Jessie Sawyer is the eliminated that time. You see that pace quickens down the back straight. This is a race, of course, that will suit Alex Manley. Down on the inside, maybe in a bit of trouble, the X-Speed riders. 109, 109. That's Mackenzie Scott from St George Club. Mackenzie Scott, 109. Thanks to Stratton Finance for supporting this event. Looking for position here. The place to be is not down the bottom because they get a run off the bank, and Amalia Langham high on the bank. She's going to be safe. Or maybe Amy Wright. No, she's kicked up. 106 maybe. 113 has been out. 113. That's Eugenia O'Rourke. Eugenia O'Rourke.
So Ian, just for 1 second, I just need all gift runners, so in the women's gift final, to come and collect their colours. We have 4 athletes still to collect their colours. The men's and women's gifts will follow this missing out race that you can see on the track at the moment. Ian.
Thanks, Grant. On the front there, we've got the rider of Amy Wright. Had her 18th birthday on Saturday, Amy. Look out for the seagull in the front straight. Oh. 105, 105. Isla Carr. So she's had a successful time here by taking out the 1,000 metre and also the women's wheel race from X-Speed. Isla Carr wearing 105, the rider. Nearly caused a bit of mayhem here, that seagull in the front straight. So we're getting down to the cream, one would say. Amy Wright there on the inside. Into the front straight. Who's going to be in trouble this time? $106. Abby Griggs is out. Abby Griggs, the runner-up in the women's wheel race. Abby Griggs, the West Australian. So they'll come around and get the bell. There'll be 1 rider eliminated, and the other 3 will sprint for 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the Stratton Finance women's missing out. So they'll get the bell this time. 1 rider will miss out, And the other three will sprint for first, second and third. We've got Amy Wright there, Alex Manley, Lauren Perry, Liliana McLennan. The bell about the sound. Who's going to be the rider? Amalia Langer maybe. Amy Wright on the inside. Oh! 1-1-1. 1-1-1. Amy Wright's the rider's been eliminated. So now we're down to can Alex Manley pick up some prize money here at the Hobart Carnival. The boys off the track. So they've had the bell. Alex Manley leading out, the 24-year-old from the Central District Club over there in South Australia. Now she's sprinting. Liliana McLennan is the one trying to come from behind, but she's going to record a win here. Alex Manley, and Alex Manley will come down and... Lauren Perry, Lauren Perry took it out from Amalia Langham and Lillian McLennan, so she didn't ride in that one. Sorry about that, Lauren. Lauren Perry. Looking at the colours, I thought it was Alex Manley, but Lauren Perry from the Launceston City Cycling Club. Of course, the gold medalist just recently up there at the Anna Meares Velodrome at the National Scratch Race Championships. So Lauren Perry has taken out the Stratton Finance. Women's missing out. So more prize money's been offered here for the ladies, plus 2 intermediate sprints. So we should see an action-packed women's scratch race. They'll bunch up, they'll get the whistle from the Chief Commissaire, Michael Bailey. The gun, I mean. So they're on their way. 8-lap scratch race for the women, brought to you by McMullen's Lawyers. So extra prize money's been put in, and also 2 intermediate sprints. $40 each for the 2 intermediate sprints. We've seen what happened in the one of the earlier scratch races. Someone wanted to pick up some early prize money, but they've got to wait for the whistle. That'll signify that next lap there's $40 up for grabs. 7 laps to go. And the pace is definitely quicked up here, and that's Sophie Kelly on the front. Mel Kemp there at second wheel, but she's gone for home here, Sophie Kelly. She might feel that the whistle's going to go early. Let's put the pace on and to strung the field out here on a very blustery day here in Hobart, but luckily we've been very lucky with the rain. We haven't had to stop any cycling events as they come down the front straight. Sophie Kelly still leads nicely with 6 laps, and the whistle sounds, so the first $40 is up for grabs. The first rider is Abby Griggs, is the first rider from the XB Club. You can see also Amy Wright there, interested to get into some prize money. Mel Kemp puts up the white flag. So they brought back Sophie Kelly. So interest in the $40. And look at the Canadian from the St George Club up in... she gone right around the outside. She used to be a speed skater, this young lady from Canada. Used to be a speed skater. And she turned to cycling to get some more speed, and she's picked up $40. She's an entertainer, this young lady. So 5 laps to go. Lizzie Ann Wilmot, she's even waiting to the crowd in the back straight. Great to see. Formerly from Brampton over there in Ontario in Canada. She moved to Australia. I did not tell you why she moved to Australia, but she was telling me why she moved to Australia. Rides with the St George Club. And she said, that's enough for me. I've got $40. No, she might have another crack. She's got her second wind. Jessie Sawyer on the front. Amy Wright there. You can also see up nice and handy, number 106 there in Abby Griggs. No, she said, I've got no more in the legs, she said. For a bit to settle for $40. So move around the outside now. Another $40 coming up. Any interest, or are they just going to let the rider just roll off the front, or if someone would like to pick up $40? I think there's going to be a challenge, though. They come into the front straight to get 3 laps to go. 3 laps to go. Jessie Sawyer about to be challenged down the outside and getting up. Alex Manley has gone on with it, and of course Alex Manley in 2018, part of the gold medal Teams Pursuit. And I tell you what, she is on the move. She is on the move. She heard there was extra prize money, and she's had a tough job to do here in Hobart, but great to have Alex here. And she's putting on a masterclass here with 2 laps to go. Alex Manley looks over the shoulder. She got enough lead to win the Melbourne to Warrnambool. Jessie Sawyer there. I think interest is only going to be in the minor placings, and Jessie Sawyer still got a chance to pick up some good prize money. Mainfield being led along there by Lauren Perry. Out of the saddle now, the City of Burnie rider Amalia Langham is the one that's trying to up the tempo. But she's a class act. Twice represented Australia as a junior at the Rhodes, and 3 times represented Australia on the track. Alexander Manley from Central District Club in South Australia. I didn't know her nickname was Mumbles, but I do now. The bell about the sound, interest in the minors, and Jessie Sawyer still leads. Not much interest there at this stage, so Jessie Sawyer, the ex-speed riders having a look at each other. Lauren Perry there, Liliana McLennan from the Balmoral Club in Queensland, but she's putting on a masterclass here. Alexander Manley, great to have her here with Matthew Richardson. And she's going to come down and pick up some handy prize money. Put your hands together for a world champion here in Alexander Manley, taking out the scratch race. Well done, Alex. Interest in the minors. Liliana McLennan there, and Lauren Perry. Looks like she's going to come up for second. Lauren Perry, fresh off her scratch race win up at Danamia's Velodrome. Lauren Perry picks up second. Third place to Liliana McLennan. Good go for fourth there. I think you'll find that Eugenie O'Rourke got up for fourth. Official placings, a very, very good win to number 101. Alex Manley was first, number 103. Lauren Perry from the Launceston City Cycling Club was second, and number 108. Liliana McLennan from the Balmoral Club in Queensland, and the Chief Commissaire would like to see the Canadian Lizzie Ann Wilmot. So Lizzie Ann, if you'd like to come out, we know you entertain the crowd, but the Chief Commissaire would like to have a chat to you. So they're on their way, big field here of A-grades, thanks to Praties. The A-grade scratch race over 22 laps. Always great to see a scratch race. We've got a classy field here. Josh Duffy, Luke Plack, Stephen Hall, Blake Quick, no Graham Frisley, Matthew Richardson, Sam Gallagher, Connor Rowley. So it's going to be interesting to see who's looking for $100 when they blow the whistle. But out the front going on nicely, Michael Giddis from the Hobart Wheelers swings up the track. That allows Connor Rowley to do a turn on the front. Former junior world track champion, Connor Rowley. So the pace has been nice and steady from the gun. So one wouldn't expect too many casualties in this A-grade field. All classy riders. Some youngsters just up from the under-17s. The Dalton Strettons, Jack Menzies, etc. Stephen Hall and that flick of the elbow. 20 laps to go. Sam Gallagher on the front, but he's round the outside goes Luke Plapp now. And this has really split the field up here. Sam Gallagher's gone across with him, but Luke Plapp, so a group of 3 at the front. Stephen Hall can see the danger because the pace has been set alight there by Luke Plapp. Takes the foot off the pedal here now. And that allows him to make contact again. 19 laps to go, and around the outside goes the rider from the Balmoral Club up there in Queensland. This is Blake Quick that takes up the running. Always good in a scratch race to see when's the right time to go and try to make a break on the field. Good prize money up for offer, and also 3 $100 intermediate sprints as they're coming around to get 18 laps to go. 18 laps to go, and these 3 have scooted out in front here. Looking over the shoulder, a flick of the elbow there. Connor Rowley on the front of the main group. The rider trying to get there across midfield. But these 3 look like they're concentrating on when the whistle goes to pick up the first $100 intermediate sprint. Josh Duffy there going along nicely along with Blake Quick. Trying to get across to him there is the rider of Stephen Rosendale, Matthew Richardson, the Western Australian sprinter, trying to get across to them. Coming around next time in the Praties A-grade scratch race. They'll get 16 laps to go. 16 to go. No whistle at this stage, so no $100 up for grabs at Josh Duffy lead. And the other whistle goes. The first $100 here on offer. Around the outside with a quick move here is Dalton Stretton trying, no, he didn't go on with it. So $100 up for grabs, and Blake Quick wants to put $100 in the pocket all the way down from Queensland. Josh Duffy there. So Duffy's the Launceston City Cycling Club member, the winner of the wheel race here in January, and Duffy's gone down to pick up the first $100 and he's gone on with it. 15 laps to go. Luke Plapp leading the chasing group along, but Duffy's gone for home. No one else seems too interested in trying to bridge across and chase, although Stephen Hall says, well, I think I better start making some moves. So Stephen Hall is on the burst now, a regular here in Tasmania for the Christmas Carnivals, won every scratch race on the calendar last year. But Duffy leads into the front fight with 14 to go. Stephen Hall's the one in hot pursuit, then trying to get across also there is the rider of Luke Plapp. Then further back then, the rider of Dalton Stretton. Jordan Matthews, the winner of the Rosebery Wheel Race there, leads the main group along. But Josh Duffy, he could have some company very, very shortly as he go past the scoreboard and comes down to get 13 to go. 13 to go. Duffy looks over the shoulder and you see he's got company here in Luke Plapp and also Stephen Hall. So three very accomplished riders out in front. And I tell you what, I think that's the penny section, because who's going to do the chasing now? Blake Quick on the front. Connor Rowley doing a turn now, the Victorian sprinter. But these three have scooted away. Josh Duffy, the top three seed riders. Josh Duffy, Luke Plapp and Stephen Hall fighting out for the prize money. So Stephen Hall, the Western Australian, takes up the running. 12 laps to go in the Praties 10K scratch race. Jordan Matthews, the flick of the elbow, the Rosebery Wheel Race winner, swings up the track. Sam Gallagher has represented Australia at Junior World Track Championships. That's him there in the VIS colours, Sam Gallagher. He won an Austral Wheel Race, Sam Gallagher, down at the main track in the Melbourne High Sense Arena. Gallagher, only a youngster. But these three putting on a masterclass here. $100 up for grabs, and Plapp leads out from Stephen Hall. Also there, Josh Duffy, these first and second in the wheel race, the Steve Daly Wheel Race for 2020. Luke Plapp won it narrowly from Josh Duffy. So $100. Who wants the $100? Plapp leads. Stephen Hall will come off his wheel now. $100 always handy in the pocket. Plapp leads on the inside. Hall down the outside. Well, let's go to the line. On the inside, I'd say Luke Plapp on the inside. I'll wait on the judges there. 132 has got the nod. 132, Lucas Plapp. Great to see his grandfather here. Also his dad, of course. 10 laps to go for these riders. A few riders have put the white flag up. So coming with 9 to go, and it's Stephen Hall and Luke Plapp. Josh Duffy said, I think I've had enough. Although there no pace on out in front, so that's going to allow Duffy maybe to make contact with him again. Then further back to Jordan Matthews, leading the main group along of 5 riders. Swings off the track now to Jordan Matthews. Jack Menzies, the youngster in the black colours, did a big turn. Dalton Stretton, I think he's called it a day. But these two riders, Luke Plapp and Stephen Hall, I think he wants another scratch race title to his name, Stephen Hall. He didn't win the scratch race at Hobart last year. He won every other scratch race, but he didn't win the scratch race here at Hobart in January of this year, But he won every other scratch race at Launceston, Devonport, Latrobe, and at Burnie. But you can see the training that Luke Plapp has been doing over there in South Australia with the Australian Endurance Squad, looking in great nick. So the leader's out of the straight. They've had the whistle, so the second $100 up for grabs. Luke Plapp took out the first $100. Josh Duffy's still rolling around, still good prize money for third. But down the back straight, Stephen Hall, the West Australian. On his wheel there is Lucas Plapp. Will Luke Plapp allow Stephen Hall to pick up this $100? I'm sure they'll work together now for the rest of the event, and Stephen Hall picks up the $100 from Luke Plapp with 6 to go. Josh Duffy still got nearly half a lap on the rest of the field. Good prize money for third, brought to you by Praties. Then a group of 5, about the only 8 riders left here, 8 riders left. And on the front doing a turn there is the rider of number 143, Nathan Earl. Great to have Nathan back on riding on the track from the Hobart Wheelers Club. Of course, what a road career he's had, Nathan Earl. Signed up again for next year with the Japanese Yukio team. Had a couple of years with Team Sky, then he came back and rode with Drapac Professional Cycling. Israel Cycling Academy. He also had a couple of years with them on the road. Nathan Earl, the further it goes, the better he likes it. But these two are just shopping turns off the front as they come down to get 4 to go. Stephen Hall and Luke Plapp. Josh Duffy still holding on to third place at this stage. Then a group of 5. Nathan Earl's there. I can see Jordan Matthews is still there. Jack Menzies there would also be part of that field. Blake Quick on Nathan Earl's wheel, the Balmoral rider from Queensland. Jordan Matthews in the black and green. 3 laps to go. And it's Luke Plapp. Of course, the Plapps hail from Burnie. But young Luke was born on the mainland in Victoria and used to come across here as a junior, racing in the juniors. So it's been about 4 years since Luke's been here, but has represented Australia on both road and track at junior championships, a dual gold medalist on the road at Worlds, and also a silver medalist in the individual road time trial on the road. And of course a national champion up there at Buninyong. But Josh Duffy, having a look, he's just rolling along. Are they going to challenge him for third or not? Now the pace is quick up. Luke Plapp has said, I'm going to go on with it here. They'll come and get the bell, and Luke Plapp. Stephen Hall trying to stick to his wheel. He'd love to win another wheel race, Stephen Hall, but Plapp leads out Stephen Hall. Bit of cat and mouse will be going on now. We know how strong Luke Plapp is as an endurance track rider. Also a great individual road time trialer. So it's going to be interesting if Stephen Hall can take out the scratch race. Luke Plapp be looking to add. Now Hall goes for it. Luke Plapp kicks back on the inside in the sprinter's lane. Plapp looks under the arm. Stephen Hall trying to come at him. Plapp on the inside. Hall down the outside. Plapp took it out from Stephen Hall. Great riding there by Lucas Plapp to take it out from Stephen Hall. Interest now in the minors. Jordan Matthews there, I see you in the green and black colours. He's trying to add to his roadbury, but Luke coming to the front straight now to pick up third is going to be Josh Duffy, the Tasmanian scratchman, and Josh Duffy will pick up third place. Getting up for fourth there would have been the rider of Blake Quick, just ahead of Jordan Matthews, then followed by Jack Menzies, a great ride by the youngster Jack Menzies. Josh Duffy to see the Chief Commissaire, please. Josh Duffy to come in and see the Chief Commissaire. Well done to all the riders that finished. Nathan Earl just went across the line. I think he's would rather be riding up Mount Wellington than on the Newtown track. The third fastest ever time up Everest. And we know what he has done at world level. And great to see he signed up for 2021 with the Japanese team. "12 laps the journey, brought to you by Wahoo Fitness. 2 $40 intermediate sprints. And a total of $220 in prize money. Good field here. Oscar Varney, William Eves, James Blake, Timothy Taylor, Paul Butler, who made the final of the wheel race, James Niven, Andre Neverlove from Western Australia. Stephen Rosendale is down to ride in this, along with Tom Watt and Aaron Midgley. So coming down with 11 to go, and it's Aaron Midgley that leads them out of the straight. James Niven on his wheel. Takes up the running now, does Niven. So a nice leisurely pace at this stage. I'm sure someone is be interested in the $50 intermediate sprint. You see Paddy Best there in the Australian colours. Gold medal in all the events in the Para Championships up at the Animeas Velodrome just recently. So 10 laps to go. Flick of the elbow there by Stephen Rosendale. Swings up the track, so good money up for grabs here. $50 for this intermediate sprint. Who wants 50 in the pocket? No action at this stage. No one's on the burst down the back straight. And there's a move around the outside. See, Pat Best is trying to go with them as well. Looks like a duel between the two riders as they come down for the $50. Up, down on the inside, pedalling strongly though, and taking it out will be the rider there of number 157. That's Paul Butler, riding in good form, Paul Butler. Made the final of the Steve Daly wheel race for 2020. He's picked up a nice $50. Pick up another $50 sprint will be as much as the winner. The winner gets $100. So already he's picked up $50 from the Northern Vets Club here in Tasmania. Aaron Midgley goes to the front. Paddy Best on his wheel. Didn't want to be there, Paddy Best. Swings up to allow the rider going through on the inside. There's the rider number 127. Some of these riders, unfortunately, not in my program. So, two riders have skipped off the front, though, and that's caused a bit of reaction here from the chasing group. But these two have scooted away up past the scoreboard and into the front straight to get 7 to go. 7 to go. That's Andre Neverlove from the rider in the red and white colours there at second wheel. Been riding well, the riders from Western Australia, from X-Speed. And these two swapping turns off the front. Aaron Midgley leading the main group along. Swings up now. So Neverlove, the Western Australian, takes up the running as they come down the front straight to get 6 to go in the B-grade scratch race. So Neverlove leads out. Paddy Best leading the main group along. Aaron Midgley on his wheel. So that was the whistle. So second sprint coming up. Who's going to take out the next $50? Neverlove looks to be pretty keen there at second wheel. The Western Australian, I tell you what, they're taking some money back to Western Australia. He makes a move around the outside now, does Andre Neverlove. Well, he's going to be come down and take out the $50. So Neverlove takes out the $50. Five laps to go. Some of these riders were originally in C grade, but they've combined it. So number 139, Andre Neverlove from X-Speed, and he's gone on with it, the tall Western Australian, as they come around to get 4 to go. Paddy Best leading the main group along, but Neverlove looks over the left shoulder and sees he's got a good lead of about 30, 40, 50 metres. Aaron Midley on at second wheel. Stephen Rosendell, only been back on the bike for 6 weeks, he was telling me. Twice winner of the Hobart Wheel Race. Finished second twice and third once, Stephen Rosendell. I thought he might have. So Andre Neverlove. They're starting to get a little bit closer. So 3 laps to go in the B grade. Who wants to do the chasing? No one at this stage is really keen, although James Niven has found himself on the front. From the Northern Vets Club here in Tasmania. So they're starting to make some ground on the Western Australian. Good prize money brought to you by Wahoo Fitness. We've already had our 2 $40 intermediate sprint winners. Now we've got the big prize money up for $100 to the winner, 50 for second and 20 for third. And he's still defying the running down, Neverlove. Stephen Rosendell's got to be a definite threat in this with the way he's been riding at the carnival. So they're all back together down the back straight. They'll come around and get the bell, and the Western Australian has put the white flag up. Neverlove, he's got $50 in the pocket, and he said, that'll do me. The bell about the sound. Who is going to take out the Wahoo Fitness B-grade event? Paddy Best there at third wheel. Aaron Midley at fourth wheel. Rosendell on the move, along with the... look at him just biding his time, the very experienced Stephen Rosendell. But I tell you what, there's been a bolter that's gone from the front. They've got a bit of running to down, but looks like a match in 3 down the back straight. Paddy Best leading the main group along with Midley. Rosendell hasn't gone for it yet, but now he puts the afterburners on. Stephen Rosendell, of course, a former Tasmanian scratchman, and Rosendell is going to add more money to his pocket, and Stephen Rosendell comes down and takes it out. Good ride for second there. Flashing home for third would have been the rider of Paul Butler. All other riders off the track. This is the first heat of the A-grade derby, brought to you by Roll Cycles. Winner only through to the final. Winner only to the final. Off the track, thanks riders. 2-lap derbies. Heat 2 will be Luke Plapp, Matthew Richardson, Nathan Earl and William Zooms will be Heat 2. So they come and get the bell, and it's Connor Rowley that leads out there. Josh Duffy on his wheel, and the youngster there in Jack Menzies. Connor Rowley, a former junior world champion, of course, a very, very good sprinter. He's got Josh Duffy, the first scratchman since Luke Ockerby from Tasmania, but he puts it in the afterburners now to Connor Rowley. He's known for his sprinting ability. Josh Duffy's on his wheel though. The winner only to go through. Duffy now about to challenge Connor Rowley. Josh Duffy from the Launceston Club is going to go through to the final, and Josh Duffy will come down to the line and take it out from Jack Menzies and Connor Rowley. So he'll go through to the final of the Roll Cycles A-grade derby. Next up, Luke Plapp, Matthew Richardson, Nathan Earl and William Eves. You're the next heat. So 2 to go. Winner through to the finals. A very classy field here. Luke Plapp, Matthew Richardson, of course, the 21-year-old, took out the sprint championship, and Nathan Earl said, look, I'm going to make it into a road race here, and Nathan Earl is on the burst because he knows he's not going to match it with the sprinters, and Nathan Earl will come around and get the bell. What a career, Nathan Earl, only 32 years of age now, riding for the Japanese team again in 2021, and it's Nathan Earl that leads out. Winner only through to the final. Earl leads out. Luke Clapper on his wheel. Look at Matthew Richardson there, nicely poised, the Australian sprint champion up there at the Anamias Velodrome just a couple of weeks ago. But Earl leads out, Clapp on his wheel, then further back to Matthew Richardson and William Eves, the youngster. Down the back straight, Clapp goes up on the outside of Nathan Earl. Richardson's going to be the challenge though. Luke Clappert around the outside goes young William Eves. Or around the outside, Matthew Richardson. He's a top-class sprinter, the 21-year-old. And Matthew Richardson will go through to the final of the Roll Cycles Derby. Luke Clapp was second, a good ride there also by William Eves. Next up, Stephen Hall, Sam Gallagher, Jordan Matthews, Mitchell Giddis and Oscar Varney. Heat 3. Winner only to the final, and it's going to be hard for someone to beat Sam Gallagher. That's him there wearing number 141. Well, that Oscar Varney is the first rider on the move as Oscar Varney. Sam Gallagher's jumped onto his wheel. Then further back to Jordan Matthews, and I tell you what, it's taken a while for Stephen Hall to wind it up. Better known as a scratch race and a wheel race rider, Stephen Hall. But they'll come around this time and get the bell. Going to be very hard to beat Sam Gallagher. But on the front straight, and Varney leads out. The bell sound. Oscar Varney leads out from Sam Gallagher, ready to pounce. Then further back then to Mitchell Giddis and also Jordan Matthews, but looks like it's a match in two. The rest have put the white flag up. Oscar Varney, Gallagher just cruising on his wheel. He hasn't gone for home yet to Sam Gallagher. Represented Australia at Junior World Track Championships, Sam Gallagher. Won an Austral wheel race there in Melbourne. This young fellow from the Blackburn Club on the mainland, and he's going to come through and join Josh Duffy and also Matthew Richardson in the final. Looks over the shoulder, just shuts it down, saves himself for the final to Sam Gallagher. Won the Mersey Valley wheel race in Tasmania last year. Next up, Aaron Jones is up next, along with Luke Atkinson, Dolan Stretton and Blake Quick. Then we move on to the B grade derby, and Paddy Best, you're in the B grade derby. Tim Taylor and also Paddy Best, high on the track, both of these, in a one-lap match race. He's gone for home now. Can Paddy Best get around him? Taylor's doing nicely out in front. I think he might have too much in hand here for Paddy Best, and he's going to come down and go through to the final of the B grade. Good ride there by Tim Taylor from the Mersey Valley Devonport Club, and he'll go through to the final. Next up, in the second heat, James Niven, Josh Hannigan, Michael Eastwood and Peter Smith. The third heat, Paul Butler, Stephen Rosendale, Aaron Midgley, James Godsell and Paul Stretton is the next heat. So they'll come around and get the bell. Good prize money up for the B grade derby final. $100 to the winner. So it's definitely worth fronting up to ride in the B grade derby heats. So the bell about to sound. James Niven, Josh Hannigan and Peter Smith. Hannigan did lead out, but around the outside now goes James Niven from the Northern Vets, and Niven's gone for home. In the blue colours there, we've got Josh Hannigan, and then further back to Peter Smith, but down the back straight. Hannigan there just waiting to pounce. James Niven leads out though. Hannigan now up on his outside and looks like he's going to go through to the final from the Hobart Wheelers Club here. This is going to be Josh Hannigan that will come down wearing number 159, and Hannigan will go through to the final of the B grade derby. Good ride there by young Josh Hannigan. Next up, heat 3, Paul Butler, Stephen Rosendale, Aaron Midgley, James Goodsell and Paul Stretton. 2 laps. 2-lap derby, winner only through to the final of the B grade. Midgley, Goodsell, then further back then is Paul Butler. This will be a pretty... what's Stephen Rosendale has just said, no, I fronted, but no, I'm not interested. He went 100 metres. So they come around and get the bell, the winner only to go through to the final. And Aaron Midgley said, look, I better get a bit of pace on here, but they'll come around and get the bell. And it's going to be James Goodsell, who's riding very well here on the track. Aaron Midgley is the one that's going to try to go out after him. And Paul Butler said, I've had enough today. And look at Aaron Midgley, of course, the major sponsor of the wheel race, goes up to James Goodsell and goes around the outside. Goodsell didn't go on with it, and it's great to see Aaron Midgley. I tell you what, he's not riding any of the other carnivals, Aaron Midgley, but He's coming to the front straight and he's going to go through to the final of the B-grade derby. A good ride here by Aaron Midley. And he goes through to the final of the B-grade derby. Final heat coming up, James Blake, Andre Navalov, Jonathan Taylor, and no Julian Clayton, I believe, is a scratching. And Jonathan Taylor in the black colours. Leads out there from Navalov. And James Blake at the rear. Winner only through to the final of the B-grade derby. They'll come around and get the bell in the front straight. The two Western Australians and also Jonathan Taylor from the Mersey Valley Devonport Club. Leading out there is Navalov. Then further back to the rider of James Blake. And Jonathan Taylor will have the last crack at them as they go down the back straight. A bit of a move on now. It looks like it's James Blake who goes up on the outside of Navalov, and also around the outside goes Jonathan Taylor from the Mersey Valley. He's on the outside, but kicking back on the inside, the X-Speed rider from Western Australia. They're tight together, into the front straight, and he's done enough to take it out there as the rider there of James Blake. James Blake will go through to the final of the B-grade derby. The field of three, first two through to the final. I can see Alex Manley along with Amelia Mulhern and also Jessie Sawyer. Next heat, Lauren Perry, Lizzie Ann Wilmot, Amalia Langham, Abby Griggs, Rebecca Blake and Mel Kemp. You're in heat two. Final heat, Lillian McLennan, Amy Wright, Mackenzie Scott, Eugenia O'Rourke, Grace Johnson and Sophie Kelly. First two through to the final. So Alex Manley will lead them into the straight to get the bell. The youngster from the mainland there at second wheel. That's Amelia Mulhern and Jessie Sawyer at the back. So first two through to the final. This race brought to you by PMM. So good prize money. So Manley leads out. Mulhern up on the outside, the youngster from Victoria. And Mulhern takes up the running from Alex Manley, and Jessie Sawyer from the Hobart Wheelers. She's starting to make a move down the back straight. Manley's seen her coming though and switched around the wheel there of Mulhern, and Alex Manley, the 24-year-old from the Central District Club in South Australia, takes up the running. Jessie Sawyer gets up the second wheel, so those two are going to go through to the final of the PMM Women's Derby, Alex Manley and Jessie Sawyer. Next up, Lauren Perry, Lizzie Ann Wilmot, Amalia Langham, Abby Griggs, Rebecca Blake, Mel Kemp. To the fence line. Two-lap derby, first two through to the final, field of five. So where's the speed machine? There she's at second wheel, the Canadian. Lauren Perry, of course, the scratch race winner up at the Nationals. Amalia Langham from the City of Burnie Club. So this will be a good final lap here with the two Western Australians as well. They've had the bell. Looking over the shoulder is the rider there of Rebecca Blake. So move starting to come now, two through to the final. Rebecca Blake still leads out. And look at Lauren Perry, bursts around the outside. Lauren Perry from the Launceston City Cycling Club, of course, joining the Podium Potential Academy for 2020-21. The Canadian there at second wheel, they look like the two that might go through to the final. And Lauren Perry's going to come down and take it out from Lizzie Ann Wilmot. And it's Perry that takes it out from Wilmot. Getting up for third there would have been the rider of Abby Griggs. The 21-year-old from the Midlands Club in Western Australia. Took out the National Sprint Championship up at Adamia's Velodrome a couple of weeks ago. Red hot favourite, so Luke Plapp told us. So they'll come and get the bell.
So it's Stretton that leads out. Duffy goes up on his outside. Gallagher nicely poised there. Then further back to Richardson at the rear. Bell about the sound in the A-grade derby, and it's Duffy that leads out from Gallagher, Richardson, and locked away there, Dalton Stretton. Gallagher having a good look at Richardson here. A very fast man is Sam Gallagher as well. Having a good look at each other. Duffy leads out. He's gone for home, Duffy, so he realises these other two are pretty quick, and Duffy's gone for home. Gallagher's the first one to try to come out after him, and then Matthew Richardson. But Duffy finding plenty up by the scoreboard, then further back to Gallagher, and Matthew Richardson puts it in the third gear. Duffy leads into the straight, Gallagher and Richardson down the outside, and Matthew Richardson took it out there from Sam Gallagher and Josh Duffy. Great derby final. B-grade coming up next. Then the women, then the juniors. B-grade derby coming up next, the final. There was the great A-grade derby, but Matthew Richardson showed his sprinting ability. The Western Australian taking out the derby from Sam Gallagher in the middle and Josh Duffy. Andre Navalov, the ex-speed rider. Aaron Midley is there, along with Josh Hannigan was the rider I was trying to find his name. He's in the blue colours, young Josh Hannigan from the Hobart Wheelers Club. So it's Midgley that leads them down the back straight from the Western Australian. James Blake it is, sorry, not Navalov, sorry, James Blake in the X-Speed colours at second wheel. So they'll get the bell this time in the B-grade derby, and it's Midget that leads out there from James Blake. Then further back we've got Josh Hannigan, and at the rear, ready to pounce, is going to be Tim Taylor. So they've had the bell. He knows his track pretty well, Josh Hannigan, and he's on the move as Hannigan. Midgley, the one is trying to bridge across. Oh, a bit of movement there in the field, but down the back straight, and he's shot for home, young Josh Hannigan. Rides this track, he knows it well, and Josh Hannigan looks like he's going to put some dollars in the pocket here at the Newtown Oval, and Josh Hannigan's going to come down and take it out nicely. A good ride here by Josh Hannigan from the Hobart Wheelers, and Hannigan takes it out from the rider there of Tim Taylor, then further back then to James Blake and Aaron Midgley. Women's final coming up. They're on their way. Sixth lap final here, and it's Liliana McLennan from the Balmoral Club that leads out from Eugenie O'Rourke. Lauren Perry there at third wheel. Then further back to the Canadian Liz Ann at Wilmont. Alex Manley. And then further back to Jessie Sawyer. And the youngsters are coming out for their derby. So down the back straight, a nice leisurely pace, and it's the Queenslander in McLennan that leads out from Eugenie O'Rourke. You can see Alex Manley taking closer order, tried to block away Lauren Perry, but was unsuccessful. The bell about the sand, and McLennan leads out there from Eugenie O'Rourke. Alex Manley up on the outside of Lauren Perry, and Manley's gone early. So it's Manley about to go up on the outside of O'Rourke, and then McLennan still leads. Alex Manley blocked away there is Eugenie O'Rourke. Lauren Perry's going to have the final crack at him down the back straight, and Manley leads out from on the inside McLennan. Now Perry is the one that starts to unleash there, and then further back to the rider from Canada up on the top bend, and it's Manley that leads, but now Lauren Perry on the outside, but she's finding plenty, Alexander Manley. Can they make it a double? The Manley and Richardson double. The Matchison and Richardson double has taken it out there from Lauren Perry and Liliana McLennan. Well done. They've come here together and they've both won the derby. So well done to Alex Manley to take it out there from Lauren Perry and Liliana McLennan.
Sorry, I was just having a talk here to Alex Manley in the under-13s, and it's going to be, I think, the youngster from City of Burnie here in Mitchell Stretton that got the orange helmet on, and I think he's going to take out another win. He won the scratch race. He's been challenged though, but I think Mitchell Stretton's going to come down to the line. The youngster from the City of Burnie, and Mitchell Stretton took it out from young Blaisley. Noah, well done Noah. Under 9 rider, fair dinkum. The gates open at 12 o'clock at the Silver Dome tomorrow. Gates open at 12 o'clock at the Silver Dome tomorrow. We must have the under 15s up next. What have we got here, boys? Separate? Nicholas Brockson there along with Nick Eblett. Also Thomas Blaisley and Jonas Shelvington. He's waiting for no one here. It's a one-lap derby, so when the whistle went, they're on their way, so it's not a chance. And he won the scratch race, but I tell you what, he's had a tough day in the office because in the 2,000 metre wheel race, he had to give his nearest competitor 180 metres start, and he had to be Danny Clark by 2 to win that, but he's going to put some more money in his pocket, and Nicholas Brockson will come down and take it out. It looks like Shiverton, Jonas Shiverton's going to be second, then getting up for third there would have been Thomas Blaisley, just ahead there of Nick Ablett. The B-grade riders coming up now. Go now, it's right from the go, so the bell's gone, and the Sophie brother that leads out there from the rider there of, yes, that's the O'Rourke, one of the O'Rourkes, that's Sybil O'Rourke. There's that many O'Rourkes, I'll tell you what. We've got Jack and Eugene, but this is Sybil. But his brother that leads down the back straight, Sybil O'Rourke now is the one mounting a challenge, and also there is Charlie Hannigan and also Lucy Oliver. Up on the top, Ben, and I tell you what, the good race here with these 4 by the scoreboard. Down on the inside is still Sophie Brotherton that leads. Sybil O'Rourke trying to get to her, but Brotherton's finding plenty in the front straight, and Sophie Brotherton, I think, is going to come down and take it out. She's been challenged out, but I think Brotherton on the inside, and Brotherton took it out there from Lucy Oliver, then further back to Sybil O'Rourke and Charlie Hannigan. 2 laps they want. Of course they do. They're big boys now. They're under 17s. 2-lap derby. Lachlan Oliver. He's easy to pick up on the yellow bike. The tall rider there from the City of Burnie is Hayden van der Ploeg. And also Alex Eves. It's raining on the hill, but it's not raining here. Yet. Just a nice leisurely pace down the back straight. Lachlan Oliver leads out from Hayden van der Ploeg and young Alec Eves. They'll come around and get the bell in the A-grade derby. Lachlan Oliver. He's put the pedal now. He'll get the bell, and it's Oliver that leads out from van der Ploeg and Eves. Looks over the shoulder. He's the bell, and it's Lachlan Oliver that leads out. Van der Ploeg can see Alex Eves. Van der Ploeg about to switch off the wheel there of Lachlan Oliver. Eves is sticking to Van der Ploeg's wheel as well, but down the back straight. He kicked back on the inside, Lachlan Oliver, but Hayden van der Ploeg has got the upper hand, and Eves is about to mount a challenge now. The 2 boys from the City of Burnie. Hayden van der Ploeg, and look at Alex Eves around the outside. He can't quite get to him. He's very strong. Here is Hayden van der Ploeg. He's got a little bit left in the tank, and Hayden van der Ploeg will take it out there from Alex Eves, and third place would have went to the pacemaker in Lachlan Oliver. There is Dylan Rogers. So 2-lap derby for B grade. I'll tell you what, I think we're going to be very, very lucky. You can see the clouds up there at Mount Wellington. Bit of rain up there. But we have been very lucky. It's been a revamped program. We've got to thank everyone for being very understanding and chopping and changing with running and cycling and switching the program around. But the bell about to sound, and it's the Western Australian there in Dollar that takes up the running. So Dollar, he hasn't been in the prize money yet, the young Western Australian, and he's gone for home. Dylan Rogers there along with the rider there of Nicholas Bolt, but I tell you what, he could put a win on the scoreboard here, this young fellow from West Australia, Jack Dolan, wearing number 10. And they're not going to get to him, although they're starting to close, but Jack Dolan is going to have enough in hand, and he's going to go down and take out the B grade under 17 derby. Ahead there of the rider in Nicholas Bolt. So it is Felicity Wilson Hefferton. Been riding for 6 weeks. I tell you what, she's looks like she's got a fair bit of ability, Greg. I heard she's a very, very good hockey player. What the truck? Very good hockey player. Represented the state, I believe, so well done, Felicity. She leads out there. About to make the challenge there now is Jack O'Rourke. Jack O'Rourke in the orange colours, but Felicity Wilson Hefferton, the state hockey representative. Jack O'Rourke. Can you get up to Felicity? I tell you what, he pedals up to her back wheel. She's finding plenty on the inside, been riding a bike for 6 weeks. But Jack O'Rourke, I think, is going to get the upper hand. She's kicking back on the inside as Felicity Wilson Hefferton. I tell you what, this is a great race. Jack O'Rourke can't get to her yet. Felicity Wilson Hefferton and Jack O'Rourke. It's going to be a photo finish. O'Rourke, Hefferton. Oh, photo! Photo! The large crowd has gone berserk here. What a race. What an exciting finish there in their cousins, I believe. I tell you what, there was no cousinly love there, that's for sure. Jack O'Rourke has got on the outside. Develop print call ball by the judges. Develop print. But on the outside, he has got there narrowly ahead of Felicity Wilson Hefferton. No cousinly love there, I tell you what. The hockey player turned cyclist. What's easier, Felicity, cycling or hockey?
Oh, couldn't tell you.
But in hockey, you got a lot of running, you get whacked in the legs with the sticks and all the rest.
Yeah, I'd say cycling.
Have you had a fall yet in cycling?
Oh, no.
Well, you're not a cyclist until you have a fall, all right? Missing out, A grade, first lap is free, no one out. So no one out the first lap, The A grade missing out, the final event on the program for the A grade, and looks like there's a self-elimination there with Sam Gallagher. So still in. Sam Gallagher is the rider that's... Jordan Matthews is going to be safe because there's one rider also behind Jordan. So you're safe, Jordan. Jordan Matthews, you are safe. So all this group coming to the front straight is all now safe. You're all in. Jordan, you're in. Mick Skidders is out. Now, rider out here, Jordan Matthews playing with fire at the back. So who's going to be eliminated this time? Jordan Matthews, the Rosebery Wheel Race winner. Doesn't seem too concerned. 151 up the top. That looks like Jack Menzies. Jack, you missed out there, Jack. Jack Menzies. So unfortunately the rain's starting to come down. Jordan Matthews is set up now. Jordan Matthews will be eliminated. Jordan Matthews. Not sure how long this event's going to go on for. We'll wait on the officials here. But Stephen Hall, he says, I'm going to sort of speed things up here. And looks like in the podium potential colours, is going to be the rider by the scoreboard that will be eliminated. They stopped the race. Unfortunately, 5 riders got away, but the rain is starting to come. And I think that could be it, ladies and gentlemen. So it's all over Red Rover here at the Newtown Oval. So thanks to everyone, all the competitors, all the officials for coming along, to Ray Quarrell and all the team here. Thank you very much. I'm going to have a sleep in the car going back to Launceston because I think I've been up for something like 15 hours now. So hope to see you again one day here in Hobart, but I'll be at Launceston tomorrow. The gates open at 12 o'clock there at the Silver Dome. So until we speak to you next time, Ian Maher saying enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks very much, Ian. A great calling today.